All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to I'll name the segment later. GTG spits that grease, so on and so forth. Title forever in the works. It's been a somewhat of a long weekend, I suppose, and whatnot. I decided to stream for almost 8 hours yesterday, which would have been the 18th of July. So, but it was fun though, and like I said, I appreciate everybody coming out. I appreciate everybody, you know what I'm saying, giving you big ups and whatnot. You know, throwing a couple contributions your boys' way, your old boys' way. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Meant a lot. And but yet again, I ended up hearing something after the stream. I wish some of this stuff actually happened while I was on stream, and it'd be easier to approach it then, but so on and so forth. In any case, we do have a sponsor for the show and whatnot. Big ups. Let's see here. Big ups to Weston Evans for and he wants to have up there Grease Dragon, which actually, to be honest, is actually rather fitting and whatnot. So big ups to Evans and welcome to Grease Dragon. So what exactly are we going to be speaking on? Yesterday, I want to tell you, it was during DSP's TCG card sims. Someone reached out to him and asked, you know, hey, what is Kino Casino? And DSP proceeds to basically retcon everything that ever happened during the 8 months that he was over there with Kino Casino, sucking dick and trying to basically leech off them. Of course, he's also went ahead and said it wasn't 8 months. It was actually 6 months, but it wasn't. It was 8 months. It's probably a little bit longer than that, but let's just go ahead and sit at 8 months. In any case, he tries to sit there and shake it off like, you know, essentially they were bad people. They don't build anything. They only destroy. And he only looked at them as stepping stones. He used them to get himself hot, to get himself back into relevancy, and to fix all of the mistakes that he had already made. He always knew they were going to snake him, despite the fact that there's like compilations out there. Actually, Ludwig World Order actually has one which leads up to the snaking. All the times that DSP had to address whether Kino Casino was going to snake him or not, and he keeps saying no, he wasn't, and how people were making him paranoid, and this, you know, it was really getting him in his feelings, so on and so forth. And yet again, how he basically reiterates, I used them. They're bad people, and I used them for my own means. I got what I wanted. They got very little, if anything, out of him, and he left. End of story. Now, there are a couple things I'd like to address as we go into this situation to give us a bit more better clarity on what actually happened. For one, DSP has said plenty of times, matter of fact, in the stream we did yesterday, we were talking about the Kino Casino, DSP, Joshua Moon from Kiwi Farms interview actually is what I went over. DSP said a few times in that interview that Kino Casino damn near saved his life. They were helping him rehabilitate himself. They were helping him branch out. They gave him a second chance. They were humanizing him in a way others didn't. Those others, by the way, being side scrollers. They were giving him an actual chance. This, that, and the third. Of course, he dismissed or he redacted the fact that he lied to side scrollers for 5+ hours and yada 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 yada. But don't worry about it. We'll deal with that later.
Shucks. Well, now because I'm short a few packs, I don't think that the machine will work. Oh, there, I just started anyway. There you go. Hanslander, thanks for $5 Canadian. He says Call of Duty blows. I'm glad it's failing. Also, what is Kino Casino? Kino Casino is a group of streamers over on Kick exclusively because they can't stream on YouTube because they were at one point both suspended, banned, or both for pretty heinous stuff that they did, quite frankly. And what they do is drama content. They basically watch other people and literally just make fun of them, but then they go steps further. They make shit up. They completely over-exaggerate and extrapolate. Basically, it's a slander show. It's like a toxic slander show, okay? $1 a dozen. A million people do this on the internet, but they get away with a lot more because they stream exclusively on Kick. So they do a lot, you know, say a lot more extreme things and shit like that. And basically, it's funny to an extent, but they take it way too far, in my opinion. And for about half a year, I worked with them because I felt like I needed to branch out and do something different than just do my own content. And I knew that they were eventually going to cover me like everyone else does. You know what I mean? Everyone eventually covers me and says, oh, he's a lolcow, and here's this blah, 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 and all the bullshit. So I'm just so used to it. So I did a 6-month collab with them, working with them, and did some interesting content. Some of it was pretty good, I would argue. Like, I think the Review Tech USA documentary we watched together and reacted to together was quite good, I think. I actually think some of the gameplay we did was fun. Like, when we did, what was that thing, Chained Together or whatever the hell it was? That was fun. But the problem was those guys, they do a certain kind of content that I'm not going to be involved in, right? I'm not going to do incredibly toxic stuff. I'm not going to go after people constantly. They basically wanted me to start getting into feuds with people constantly. They wanted me to have fabricated feuds, completely fabricated, 100% like fake feuds, for the fact that, you know, they would make good drama content and make money on it and shit. And I didn't want to do any of that. I was like, no, you know, there's stuff we could do from time to time that I think would work, but I don't want to constantly be doing this nonsense that you guys are into. That's not me. I'm not a full-time drama guy. You know what I mean? I'll do it every once in a while, or you have an idea you want me to be involved in, sure. But for the most part, no, I don't want to just be a drama guy all the time, right? So after that happened, after I worked with them for around on and off 6 months, they basically got upset because they felt like, oh, well, we had talked about Phil so much positively or whatever that they weren't getting enough out of it anymore. That basically they had invested more than they were getting out of it. So then they decided, which they were eventually going to do this anyway, they decided that they were going to turn on me and try to get me into stuff that I didn't want to be in or force me into it. Like, literally, no lie. Like, try to fool me into doing stuff very, very underhandedly, or blackmail me into doing it. What they didn't realize is that I had planned for that all along. I knew they were going to do that to begin with. 100%. So I was ready to cut the cord, and I actually cut the cord with them. I kicked one of them off of my wrestling commentary show because we were doing a commentary show together. I kicked him right the fuck off the show, and I blocked him and banned him from all my content. I said, I'm not doing shit with you anymore. And that was the end of that. Now, the thing is, a lot of the viewers who watch me on Kick had started watching me because I was working with the casino. So all of a sudden, overnight, it was like, uh-oh, half the viewership or more on Kick who were there because, you know, the Kino Casino liked me. Now they don't like me anymore because I'm not working with them, and I basically kicked them to the curb. So what we have is a toxic, ongoing relationship here where these people show up every day and just say insulting things constantly about me. And it's like, well, what are you going to do? Like, I guess that was to be expected. And in truth, I get paid for them to be there because I'm in the Kick Partner Program. So it's not the end of the world that they do this. But at the same time, it's kind of unfortunate when people want to talk and chat and all they want to do is be normal, and they can't be because you got these toxic people spamming the chat constantly and being assholes, okay? So basically, that's the summary of it. Yeah, there was a lot more individual weird shit that happened. One of them trying to invite me. One of them said he wanted to pay for my trip to fly me to Florida to go to Hulk Hogan's bar and drink with him. I'm married. It's bizarre. It's bizarre behavior. That's just one of many things that was bizarre, okay? So, anyway, that's that. I really don't deal with them anymore. They bring me up a lot. They did 2 holiday specials about me. It's hilarious. They've put more effort into me since I said I'm kicking you to the curb and want nothing to do with you than since we were working together. You know, maybe if they had clout, maybe if they had any kind of creative ideas in their fucking head, we would have made good content together. But instead, they can't do that. They can't do anything constructive. They only know how to make destructive content. It's only through destroying others that they can be popular. See what I'm saying? So it's toxic. It's negative. It's destructive. I don't want to be that. So that's why we never were going to work. And I knew that because I knew that what we were doing was temporary on purpose, only to basically get a little bit of attention for me and my channel. I knew that basically they were using me and I was using them, and eventually the whole thing would fall apart. 100%. I knew that all along. So that's why I'm not upset about the fact that I'm not working with them anymore. I don't care because what I'm doing now is what I want to do. What I was doing with them was just necessary evil, I guess would be the best way to put it. And my longtime fans and followers are very happy that I decided to not become a full-time drama guy, because a lot of them were very afraid of that. They thought that, oh, Phil's just going to do drama all the time, drama content, toxic content, and he's not going to be able to do gameplay. He's not going to chill with us anymore, right? He's just going to be about drama, insults, and shit like that. But it didn't turn out that way. In fact, it turned out way better, because before I worked with them, I was basically kind of just coasting and not really doing very well. And since then, I'm doing great. I've fully upgraded my whole setup, right? I've got do awesome streams. I'm constantly implementing new things and stuff in my content, and things are going great. I mean, even myself, my in the 2 years there, since things got better, I physically improved my diet, my health, I'm working out. Like, everything has just gotten much better as a result of my choice to do that, but prepare myself for what was inevitably going to happen. Because if I didn't, then it could have bit me in the ass and it could have hurt a lot. But instead, literally, I've had zero negative impact from those two jerks. I'm good. And I basically used them to propel myself to a new level, which I needed to be. And, you know, they've made a pretty penny off of my back, too, because of all the toxic stuff they do with me. So in reality, I think we kind of understand that even though we don't like each other, it's fine because we're both good. Like, they're fine doing what they're doing, making tons of money. I'm fine being me, doing what I'm doing. And I know they're going to keep covering me. I don't really give a shit because it doesn't affect me. Like, they did two they did two holiday specials about me. Nothing happened. I was perfectly fine. Like, why the fuck do I care? You know? Let them do what they want to do. I'll do what I want to do, and we'll all be happy in our own little corners of the internet, right? So there you go. Okay, I need to buy the cards. I need to restock, and I need to shout out Hansland did another super chat. Okay. Here we go. Okay. We're almost at level 47, but the going is slow. Like I said, I wish there was a way to make money faster. I think I need to start selling more expensive products.
In any case, he said that they basically saved his life for the most part. You know what I'm saying? Kino Casino was giving him another chance, or was allowing him to have another chance with the internet to show that he's not just this type of person. He can do other things. And if people would just humanize him and not completely and solely focus on the drama, they would find that he's not that bad of a person. Yes, he's made a lot of mistakes, but he's not that bad of a guy. And you decided to do all that with Kino Casino, given what their background is? Interesting. Next thing is the fact that, one, he didn't know that he was always going to get snaked. He really believed they were going to be his friends. You can tell actually by the DM leaks, which DSP did himself, which was a massive mistake, and I'm sure he regrets that shit now, that he literally believed these people were in his corner, that were on his side. One example of that is, well, to be honest, look at all of the fucking trauma dumping he did on them, which is exactly what it was. The thing about his family, well, his parents in particular, mainly his mother, the situation with Kat, and all the other nonsense. You barely know these people, and you felt comfortable enough to tell them all that, which also leads one to believe that he possibly lied to them. But do you know what kind of a sick person you have to be to lie to other people about something like that? Yeah, you barely know them. Why are you telling them this anyway? But also, you barely know them. Why would you lie to them about something like that? I'll let you guys choose your own adventure on that one. On top of that, and to continue the push forward, the push forward the situation or the narrative, as it pertains to just overextending himself, is think about all those streams late night, because you know they stream late, where he was in those streams for like 4, 5, 6 hours at night. He's not sleeping. He's not giving his wife any panty time. He's sitting there chilling with them cats. He's trying to include himself into that situation. Let's also not forget how he tried to he tried to convince these guys to change their time slot on certain days so he could reap the benefits of their audience, and they're already doing okay, so they shouldn't mind it. And let's go even further than that. Let's talk about some of the Gouty manipulation, the Gouty Jedi mind tricks he was pulling, in those DMs. With the trauma dumping, he was using that as a buffer, as well as additional motivation for them not to snake him. So the paranoia was getting to him. He really believed these people were his friends. He did start believing that they might snake him, so he started trauma dumping on them so they wouldn't. Hey, this guy is going through all this stuff in his personal life, man. We really can't fuck him over. That's what he's thinking. Trauma dump on them enough, and maybe they'll just let him slide, and they'll let him just be the parasite, the cancer, the whatever you want to call him, and let him just kind of carry along on their back. That's crazy. For people that you barely know. For people that you barely know. Now, let's go ahead and move on with the nonsense on that. They carried him for like 8 months. You know what I'm saying? more so than he deserved, first off and foremost, more so than they should have. They lost money on that deal. Now, don't get me wrong, they got it back in blood later. You know what I'm saying? Like, after the fact, they made all their money back and some, but they lost money on that arrangement. They lost money on that deal. There were things that they wanted DSP to do that were to his benefit if he was trying to really branch out and trying to rehabilitate his image, that he wouldn't do. He wanted them to do all the heavy lifting and whatever it was that he was comfortable with. One could make the argument, I know I already have, that he tried to turn them into the new John and Howard. Basically, they had the platform, they had the juice, they had the community and whatnot, and he was looking to poach them. It was all a transaction to them. Hey, you guys are clowning me and you guys already get money off my back. Let me go over here, eat off your plate, eat off your table. And yeah, you guys can humiliate me and my wife and the rest and all my ineptitudes and whatnot. But now I get to eat off y'all a little bit. Hell, go back to the DMs again. Hey guys, I've been streaming over here for such and such time and I still haven't been offered partnership yet. What's going on with that, guys? Those two guys don't work for fucking Kick. They work on Kick, but they don't work for Kick. How the fuck do you expect them to know anything about that? And they try to tell him, hey, Phil, we're not the ones to talk to on that. Yet he kept pressing them. He kept pressing them on it. Wanna know why? Because in DSP's mindset, I should say, the internet provides. You guys, I came over here to Kick because of y'all. You guys helped me with the dual streaming. Andy did, I should say. You guys helped me take down fucking Review Tech USA in that, basically in that slam pig piece that they did on him and whatever. You guys need to get me partnership. That's how he looked at it. He was already suckling at PPP, or Triple P as I like to call him, at his tit. So now they were like, you need to provide me some more milk. So I need you to go to Kick, tell them how good I am, tell them that I'm aligned with you, and get me into that partnership. That shit's crazy, right? But that's what he did. That's exactly what he did. Interestingly enough, DSP talks about how toxic the content is, right? That Kino Casino provides, or they produce, I should say, and how their audience is mentally disabled and they're just being taken advantage of, which is ironic because DSP wanted their audience. DSP wanted their money. So you have a problem with Kino Casino taking advantage of, in air quotes, these disabled, these mentally slow people, but you're okay with doing that. Huh, okay, whatever. Also, now that I think about it, you say that they make harmful content, it's not useful, it's not productive, you never really wanted to do it anyway, but you played along with it because you had to. But weren't you in Kino Casino's DMs sucking a dick during the quartering situation, which is still ongoing, by the way, but early on in the quartering situation, talking about how you can help them out, you have inside information, you have a little bit of inside baseball on how YouTube works and how you think the quartering took them down and you thought you could help them out if they brought you onto the show? Two things. One, why didn't you actually divulge what you think was going on to them in DMs? See, Andy and PPP haven't leaked your DMs yet. So we don't know what you said and what you didn't. But it makes me think that you didn't actually tell them anything. You were trying to bullshit yourself onto their platform. Two, is it possible, ladies and gentlemen, this is the hypothetical pignosis, our favorite game. Is it possible, while DSP was trying to suck on fucking Kino Casino in DMs during the quartering situation, that DSP was also speaking to the quartering? I want you to think about this for a minute. DSP, ever since the Quartering React documentary by June the King, he's been basically playing off of Kino Casino's playbook. Off of the Quartering's playbook. Damn near slot for slot. If you really look at what happened to Raw Phil, big ups, and you look at what happened to Kino Casino on YouTube, DSP basically did the same thing. Now, obviously, DSP's a coward, just like the Quartering, so he's gonna deny. But we know he did it. He did that shit. Oh, you know you ain't fucked up, right? He did that shit. We know that. Guilty as fuck. So there's that situation there. But did DSP go to the Quartering and say, hey, you know, I was with Kino Casino for X amount of time or whatever. I can help you with that, with the whole Kick thing. Because remember, the Quartering was trying to get Kino Casino deplatformed off Kick. Hey, I could probably help you with that, but I got these guys on my side that are fucking me up. How did you actually get them deplatformed? Would you help me out with that? You know what I'm saying? You scratch my piggyback and I'll scratch your piggyback. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Is that a possibility? But then if so, if DSP did get on Kino Casino, if they did allow him onto the show, what was he gonna say or do that was gonna somehow help the quartering? See, I'm thinking that he was lying to both sides. He needed the quartering to get rid of Raw Phil, right? To a cemented way to get rid of Raw Phil. While with Kino Casino, he was trying to get re-platformed over there. And he was gonna probably suck them off and be like, yeah, guys, I said a lot of shit or whatever, but you know, everything's cool now. And he was gonna see if he can get back into that stimulus package at a time when Kino Casino was red hot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was coming out to support them. Everybody was talking about the bullshit with the quartering, which if you're paying attention to the quartering now, he had damn near lost everything, damn near. So he was just trying to get himself back into the spotlight with that while providing them almost next to nothing. Now, yet again, it's not a very good theory. It's not even a Theo theory. I'm really stretching the boundaries of that. I'm really stretching the boundaries of that. But I'm just putting that out there. That's just something that I'm kind of theorizing with. And yet again, that right there is a pattern of behavior. DSP's whole time with Kino Casino, it was all about giving them the least amount possible while maximizing everything he can get. Everything was transactional to DSP. He wasn't trying to actually build any friendships, any partnerships, any business relationships, none of that. He wanted to use them. And let's talk about, actually, now that I think about it, excuse me, let's talk about a couple of the reasons why and how DSP tried to use Kino Casino. For one, he tried to use Kino Casino to not only get himself popular, get more dense, raise his online profile off of drama content, by the way. He also wanted to go back at his enemies. He wanted to clap back at all of the big people that he would never be able to actually attack himself because DSP's a coward. And with the backing of Kino Casino, he thought they would back him up. He thought we were going to be on some fucking lolcow JJK shit where they were going to be reverse jumping everybody. So, for example, who was on the hit list? Josh from the Kiwi Farms. Obviously that didn't work out. I'll explain why in a minute. Mudahar, Medicare, It's a Gundam, a few others. Right? And actually, that's even more important because DSP said that one of the reasons why he ended up snaking them and why they weren't useful to him anymore is because they had no clout. They couldn't raise his profile, meaning DSP. Kino Casino couldn't raise his profile any larger or any higher, I should say. So he had to dismiss them. He had to get rid of them. They had ran their course. They had outlived their usefulness. Now, let's go ahead and go back to that. So they wanted the piece of Josh. They did, or DSP, they set that up. DSP spent the majority of that basically trying to catch Josh in the gotcha moments. Wasn't gonna work. I mean, Josh is a lot of things, but he ain't gonna fall for some of the bullshit fucking low-level nonsense DSP was trying to do. He was trying to get his thread taken down. He was trying to get he was trying to get Josh to give him sympathy for what the thread has allegedly done to him. He tried to get Kino Casino to back him up, to put additional pressure on Josh to basically see things DSP's way. And obviously Kino Casino had their own agenda, so they were playing off both sides, so that wasn't gonna happen. And nothing came about it. If anything else, just the Derek situation, which is fucking godlike and whatnot, especially since, I'm not sure if you guys actually heard this, but I pointed this out on stream. DSP equated pedophilia to a kink. You know how crazy that is? To a kink. He ain't lost his goddamn mind. Evil as fuck. Big ups to Dwight. So, big ups to Dwight. Holy shit. So, as well as, I can't unfuck your sister-in-law, Phil. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. There were some pretty good quotes. There's some pretty good quotables that came out of that shit. But nothing came out of that, essentially. The thing with Mudahar basically bowed out. Why? I couldn't tell you. I would assume, though, it's similar, to the situation with Moist Critical. It's not that serious. It's not that deep. I'm not going to platform him. Fuck him. Same thing with Medicare. Medicare already extended him that offer a couple years previously. DSP didn't want to do it. I'll get to why DSP didn't want to do those interviews back in the day and his justification for it. But he wasn't interested in doing it. Medicare was really, really down bad at that time. Like, we really thought he was about to check out and shit. So DSP was the last thing on his mind. It got so bad that DSP had to beg / threaten Medicare on Twitter saying, hey man, time's running out. You know what I'm saying? You need to come up here and apologize to me before you clock out permanently, before you check out permanently, before you get knocked off the census. That's crazy, but that did happen. Who else did he try to go after? Oh, It's a Gundam. It's a Gundam's actually an interesting one. For one, there was no way he was gonna beat Gundam in anything and whatnot. Two, Gundam showed him mercy.
The meat and potatoes of the whole Phil thing starts with him getting Rich Review Tech USA on. This is because Phil had a falling out with Kino Casino, which everybody knew was going to happen, obviously. So to get ahead of it, Phil had on Rich. To preface all of this even further, because my God, there's so much lore now, and it's coming so fast. Originally, you know, me and Andy have been on good terms for a long time. Like, I've done a couple of videos with Andy. I've been on a live show with Andy. It's been a while. We're pretty cool. We have jokes and stuff, whatnot. Andy hits me up one day after we've talked about being on each other's shows. And he's like, dude, you want to come on in? This is my best Andy impression. Yeah, Phil, you know, we're totally on your side, man. You come in here and destroy Phil. And I'm like, I don't know, Andy. I don't really want to help Phil out. I now look back at it and regret it, because it probably would have been incredibly funny if we just came in there and destroyed Phil. But truth be told, from my perspective, another level, I felt like Phil was finally happy, right? He felt like he had friends. He get into fights with people, and he's like, haha, Kino's got my back. Craig, you went full mask off, Craig. Go fuck yourself, Craig. DSP was feeling his oats. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to step back. I'm going to let DSP feel like he's winning. For over a year now, this asshole has called me a pussy. He's called me a bitch. He's called me everything but a child of God. I don't even call Phil a pussy. When I think about it, I've left Phil alone since Side Scrollers. If I really wanted to cash in on this dude, I would have went after him that day. I would have been on a Side Scrollers video, and I probably would have made some bank. But I was like, you know what? The dude's got mental Munchausen's. I'm going to let it ride. Phil has essentially destroyed himself on Side Scrollers. Wrong mistake. I should have went after him immediately. So now we're in the present day. Kino's over. Phil's made a fool of himself. They've admitted to basically leading him on. Like, this dude actually thought he was a king or something. It was his resurgent. Little dude was going on stream and telling everyone. Didn't he say to Craig to his face? He's like, you don't understand it, Craig. People like me now, Craig. This is my resurgence. And everyone sees how you snaked me, how you did these horrible things to me, Craig. And Craig's just sitting there like this. Okay, Phil. Oh, forget it. Let's just watch this crap. I was hoping Adis would pull up something that was one of the best vamps in human history. Oh, now something's here. How dare you?
It took a while to get to this, but thankfully this time code is here. So I just went to the time code from my clip, and here he is calling you a little bitch.
I'm just going to say this. If It's a Gundam is on their show on Friday, he is the biggest motherfucking bitch on the planet. Because did you see how they talked about that guy? They outright said, we want to destroy him. He's an alcoholic. He sleeps with hookers. He's going to spiral. He's going to do all this thing. They wrecked him. They fucking wrecked him. And the intention was for us to wreck him publicly so that we could benefit and reap from the detractor community. That was 100% what we were going to do. And then he backed out.
It was 100% what they were going to do. They were going to wreck you. Ugh.
Bro, we were lining up Phil for, I think originally that might have been the original pullout, was to have me come in and destroy Phil. Then Phil's Kino arc was over. But I think me stepping back led to something better. Because basically we got all this. We have a stream that could be 6 hours long of Phil coping. It's unmitigated cope. This is a lot of it. Like, is it still going? Is the live stream still going?
It's still going. Yeah, it's still going. I think another thing I really like is that he keeps going back to this. If it's either you or someone else he's bitching about. And just once in a while you see a chat go by that says, when are you going to read the donations? I don't know why this cracks me up so much.
He doesn't want to read
And
those
now-
donations. And here's another layer too. All right, I didn't want to be bothered with it. Mudahar didn't want to be bothered, and even Mr. Medicare didn't want to be bothered. The best part, hey, what's up? Who's it? Stone, how you doing, Stony? The best part is when Medicare obviously has cancer and he's on the way out. Phil gives Medicare a fucking ultimatum to show up to his show randomly at 11 on Wednesday or something. Like, Mr. Medicare, if you could just stop your chemo and do a show with me since you've always wanted to be interviewed by me. The guy's a wild animal. I'm going to say something controversial. DSP is now the greatest locale. No one comes close. All right, there was a time when Chris Chan was number one, undisputed king. But in 2025, no one could touch Phil. He's the most delusional, psychotic piece of shit I've ever seen in my life, and I love it. I love it. This is my reality TV. What Kino did was great. Because even when I was talking to Andy, he kept up the grift. I was sitting there like, Andy, come on. No, Phil's cool, dude. I'm like, Phil's cool, Andy? I should have known better. I'm a goofball. I should have went right in there and played along with the game. Somebody said Low Tier God is still your favorite. Oh, come on. Low Tier isn't this good. What did Low Tier do this year, my guy? He like abandoned a child. That's literally Black Guy 101. Darksydephil is going insane for your entertainment. You're banned. Oh my God. Should we watch his stream from DSP Raw, or should we like go to Duty streams for like the clips because he's cut it up a bit?
Well, yeah, let's see what the rest of this is. I can't quite.
You want to see? Okay, let's see what
like, we're jumping going up on you.
You jump into the end of the film.
Months later, they outright admitted the only reason he does content is because it's fish in a barrel content. That he wouldn't actually go up against anyone. That he can't handle it. He'll crumble. That instead, that's why he does his own kind of content offline. But now all of a sudden, they're not fun with.
Whoa.
That's the one. The crumble.
I'm so stupid for not coming on.
Raw dog.
Like Kino Casino, like Andy was telling me this like days ago. He's like, we were saying whatever we could to Phil to try and get him on to talk to you. And Phil refused to do it for the longest time. I can't show the DMs. Like I was coined as, and I quote, the king of the detractors. They gassed this guy so far up. Phil, I was your best friend. I was the one person who would leave you alone at your lowest. I didn't pick the corpse, but now I will. Like a hungry little hyena in the Serengeti, I will nibble your fucking femur bone, you bastard. You toe-walking fuck.
You weirdo.
Show the DMs. We tried to download them, but it didn't work. But he does show DMs in here, so we can use that. I'm not a king.
All cows. Ooh, ring-a-ding-ding-ding-ding. Ooh. It's like a fucking clown.
I wonder, like, I'm pretty sure Kino will leave it open for Phil to talk to me if he wants on the Friday. That little fuckbag. That little human weasel. He was faking his wife having cancer, dude. How could you, like, say I'm a bad person? And you literally faked your wife being sick to get out of things with Kino. Oh, my God. All right, where do we want to start? Do we go? Let's go where Rich is. Screw it. I'll let you do the navigation.
Let me do the navigation to this thing you just told me about. You said you want to go to Duty streams?
I'll give you a link. Hell, I could pull up myself. I'm already there.
At this point, dog. Yeah, this is...
Which, for all the respect that I have for Gundam, it disgusts me. Gundam knows better, but Gundam showed him mercy. He gave him clemency by not going up there and putting his ass to the fucking grill and shit. And DSP ain't talk shit for the better part of a year, trying to egg Gundam on and shit. Then DSP, when Gundam ends up going up there to do a stream with Kino Casino, DSP's like, hey, did you guys not see the DMs? Kino Casino was shitting all over Gundam. Why would he go up there? He must not have a lot to him if he would let people shit on him and then go up there and actually do shit with them. Well, that's ironic, Phil, because that's what you did. You did that with, actually, you a hoe. You're a whore, actually, Phil. You're a hoe and a whore and a slut. I'm gonna explain why. You ain't sat there and did that twice. You were a whore when you ain't sat there and did that with Kino Casino. You're a slut when you went ahead and did that with Asmongold. And they both dug into you in very entertaining ways. But they both dug into you before you went up there and wanted to talk to them. And then you eventually did. You know what I'm saying? So what I say, you said you're a whore, you're a slut, and well, you're a prostitute too, theoretically, actually. Let's just say you're just a whore and a slut and a prostitute. And the reason why that is because with both of those stimulus packages from Asmongold and from Kino Casino, you didn't do anything to enrich your life. You didn't do anything to enrich your business. You want to know what you did? You did what all hoes do. You went out and you bought trinkets. You bought shit to make it look like you were doing better than what you were. That's all you did. You didn't do anything to really improve your surroundings, your situation, to enrich yourself. You went ahead and spent it on trinkets. That's crazy when you think about that. It's crazy how you squandered all that. Not only the money, but the opportunities. It's amazing. And then funny enough, in both situations, meaning Asmongold and the Kino Casino, you didn't actually do anything. Hence the reason why the opportunity was wasted upon you. But what was funny is, and this is the really silly part, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why he wasn't willing to actually engage with all of those people that I named until he got the boost from Kino Casino is he felt he said this, he was so down bad that no one was going to care about anything that he said or did. But once Kino Casino did the heavy lifting and tried to quote unquote humanize him, then he felt like he was in a better position to address some of the situations that were floating out there. So then he gets both of these opportunities and does what?
Not that guy, yes. So, but yeah, like long term, I want to keep doing it as long as I can. And then when I see signs I can't, maybe, you know, but the thing is, hopefully if there's a turnaround and there's positivity and I have money and I can have savings and I can have retirement funds now, that thing can happen. You know, I can eventually say, okay, I don't have to do it till I die. But, you know, I haven't had that opportunity in many years. We're going through that bankruptcy and all this shit going on. Now it looks like things are turning around, and maybe, that's what I said, when I say this is life-changing, that's not an exaggeration. That's an actual statement of fact.
Let me tell you my favorite videos that you've ever done. There are a couple that stand out, and none of them have anything to do with, like, well, I mean, the Street Fighter videos where you got angry are very funny. But my favorite video you've ever done is the unboxing of Final Fantasy 13.
Everyone loves this video. Everyone loves this video.
It's the best.
That's great.
That and the cooking videos. I miss the cooking with the king. No.
Poorly cooking with the king. You have to add that in there because that was the whole idea, is that it was me being a dunce trying to cook and, you know, making terrible food.
Yeah, I mean, it was very funny because you had like a camera in one hand and we're trying to open like cans with the other, and it was just like a tragedy.
Probably the reason I ran out and bought a tripod for the first time when I was trying to do that
for
series.
The cooking streams. Yeah.
Josh, you have to watch him cooking the noodles in the cup.
He must have seen
the cup noodles with the spoon.
The cup noodles. Yo, instead of boiling the water, he uses the hot water from the water cooler.
And the spoon.
He's like, why is it so hard?
Did you see the bacon grease one where he just flushes that shit
right down the toilet?
What were you thinking, Phil?
Not my problem.
I didn't know. I was an idiot. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was a complete dunce.
Funny.
When I started on YouTube, I was just fucking around. I didn't know what the I was doing. I didn't do anything and get views on it, right? Like, fucking stupidity.
I want to say one other thing. Can we all just agree? The IRS. Them. Obvious. The IRS. I know, Phil, you know, you would never, ever scam the IRS.
No, but you
if
scam,
you did, it was fucking
nothing. He literally didn't do a goddamn thing. He literally didn't do a damn thing with it. Back to Gundam. So Gundam gives him clemency. DSP goes ahead and talks his smack. Gundam does a stream later on and literally admits well, he didn't need to literally admit. I'm sure he had buyer's remorse after the fact. But he was like, I should have gone up there and I should have chopped his ass up. Which, yes, Gundam should have. And I actually have the clip. Or I know where to find it. Actually, to be honest, I'll insert it. It'll be inserted somewhere in here. But I know where to find it. And he even said that I should have chopped his ass up. I should have given him the business, and he should have. And whatnot. So now I have to put Gundam up there with Jaha. Now, don't get me wrong. I got mad respect for Jaha. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. But him and Mike Watson should have finished the job. Now I got to go ahead and put hashtag It's a Gundam should have finished the job up there too. We have to do it. We have to. And the reason why is because DSP is not worthy of your mercy. He's not worthy of your charity. He's not worthy of nothing. You know what I'm saying? Is DSP a pathetic, worthless, useless creature? Absolutely. But he's not worth being pitied. At all. At all. And don't be wrong, I'm sure Gundam, just like Jaha and Mike Watson, realized by putting their hands on him, not only do they somehow bolster him in some way, shape, or form, but also they're also allowing him to be more of a victim. I get that. I really do. I get that. But see, the problem is, yet again, when someone is on their hands and knees, you put the boot on their ass. You keep the pressure on that shit all night and you keep applying. Because if you allow them to get up, if you allow them to rise, even if it's a couple of inches, they'll stab you the first chance they get. The first chance that they think they can get away with it, they will get away with it. Now, did Mike Watson or Jaha get hurt at all? Nah. Did Gundam get hurt at all? Nah. They were all just mildly irritated. Understandable. Still should have finished the job though. They still should have squashed the shit out of him right then and there. For the love of the game. In any case. Another thing is that DSP also wanted to direct and focus Kino Casino's ire against side scrollers, which is really weird, right? Because of my own personal theory. DSP wants very much to still get that opportunity on side scrollers, but he wants Craig and Kino and side scrollers as a whole, to be honest, but he wants Craig on his knees. He wants him on his knees groveling, so that will happen. Which, now that I think about it, goes back to the whole thing about this being a transaction. How do you expect people to want to do anything with you when the thought process is you're just out to use them? You don't respect them. You don't respect their time. You don't care about them nor their audiences outside what you can poach from them. You're just there to use them. And DSP's reasoning for it being just a transaction, we're just using each other, really doesn't make sense either because of how malicious DSP is and his history of using people. When you think about the side scroller situation, right? DSP lied to these people for like 5+ hours under the pretense that he would still get his occasional or his reoccurring or his bi-weekly or bi-show chance to be up there to talk about games. Now let's repeat that. He lied to them for 5 straight hours or 5.5 hours just so he could get a seat at the table eating off of their table and off of their plates later on down the line. Now, most of you are thinking, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't make no goddamn sense. Let me explain. DSP was never gonna be honest with side scrollers. We all know this. That's very clear and whatnot. DSP can go ahead and use the example of, they were talking to my detractors. My detractors were giving them money and filling their heads with all this bullshit. They were never gonna take me seriously, so I just did what I had to do. The reality is he was always gonna lie to them. He was always gonna lie to them. He was literally trying to be exposed to their audience, to their community, and try to ingratiate himself there. You really think DSP's first initial action or his first initiative in general is to be honest with people when he presents himself to them?
Your entire cast laughed ack on the show, Craig, together, as if this was something funny to do to deride Phil. I was the guest on your show the day before for 5 hours. Mm-hmm. I was on your show and answered hard-hitting questions. You didn't have to believe the answers.
Hold on. Did you answer? Because you
I did. Oh, indeed, I answered. You just didn't like the answers.
Phil, don't flip that on me, because you didn't. You were dishonest with us, and we smelt that.
It's still an answer. It doesn't matter if it's honesty or not. It's still an answer.
Then let me ask you this, Phil. Will you apologize for lying to us? Because that's where a lot of that came from. Is like, we knew you were lying, right?
Okay.
And I gave you an opportunity multiple times. I remember pleading with you, Phil, just come clean on this. And the opportunity was there. And had you just come clean at that instance, everybody would move past this. So I do think that, like, once again, why were we upset, Phil? What's the root of all this? We felt and we knew and we smelt a lie. We smelt it, right? So, and you admitted yesterday to lying to us. So that to me stings, because you're not only lying to me, you're lying to your audience, you're lying to my audience, and you're lying to everybody else. So you should apologize to me and Adam and Travis and Blabs and everybody else who watched that show, because they were expecting the definitive DSP interview, and what they got was lies. That's not definitive, Phil. That's the issue I had with this.
Okay, now.
No, at all. He had to try to make himself look as normal as possible. How do you do that? You alleviate any type of vices, bad habits, anything that people within that community could laugh at you about or be wary of you. And if DSP is trying to take advantage of people financially and for his ego, he has to look pristine. Financially, he has to not have any vices. He can't have something that people throw $5 or $10 at him. Then they find out about this shit, and then they have buyer's remorse, or donator remorse, I guess is probably the better term for it. So he was always going to end up lying to them. But he thought once he gets to the table and they talk about games and he gives his fraud poser bullshit, he thought he could sell some people. Not everybody, because you can't fool everybody all the time. But you can fill some of the people some of the time. And I think that's what the plan was. And he's always has that plan in his head. But he needed Kino Casino to back him up. But when the Josh interview didn't go well, when all the other things fell apart, they had outlived their usefulness. Because remember, he couldn't shift them to not stream on certain days so he could benefit, which was supposed to be the rise of DSP politics, which ironically enough, DSP politics theoretically correlates when side scrollers started to branch out into politics too. You guys kind of see where my frame of mind is with some of this stuff? A lot of what DSP was doing around that time was to also somewhat be appealing, or to seem to be on the same page with what side scrollers was doing. This is where DSP's fucking mental illness was coming from. You know what I'm saying? He was running the mental midget marathon. He was running a mental midget marathon, basically. The 3Ms, if you will. And it was all because of side scrollers. And I don't know if he thought use Kino Casino, prop himself as high as he could, then force Stuttering Craig to acknowledge him, or use Kino Casino as a threat against side scrollers to let him on. Both of them sound absolutely ridiculous, by the way. I'm very much aware of that. But it does make you wonder, what is it that the gouty Lord High Executioner really had going on in his head? He had to have some type of idea of what he wanted to do. And he was looking for a payoff. Hence the whole nature of the transactional situation that he does with people anyway. Which you're not looking at people as people when you do stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody is out here to enrich your life, per se. You know what I'm saying? Like, your friends, your family, but that's vice versa. That's give or take. DSP wasn't trying to do any of that. He admits he wanted to use them for everything that they were worth, and then he wanted to discard them the moment that they became inconvenient or useless to him. And he uses the pretense of, they were going to stink me anyway, as his justification. But it doesn't hold up. You could have just left clean. You could have been like, hey guys, I'm good, I'm done. Bye. Why'd you have to shit on the fucking floor on the way out? Why couldn't you just been a man about it and say, hey guys, I think we're at the end of what this is. I appreciate it. And just move. Makes you think. In any case, that's my initial thoughts, man. Like I said, I'll insert the actual clip in here. and whatnot. Big ups to Raw Phil. Big ups to Down Backing. Big ups to them too, and whatnot. And like I said, if I find that Gundam clip, I'll insert that in here. So I'll leave the link to all that stuff down in the description. But yeah, man, the retconning history, that's what DSP does. Not really, no one should care anything about any of that. But to just be so blatant about it and try to demonize them to justify why you did what you did, while also having this smirk on your face on, yeah, I benefited and I was always going to benefit, and I made sure they weren't going to get anything off of me that they weren't already taking, is mental illness, to be honest. And yet again, and as I said, the amount of mercy that was given to him by Mutahar, by Moist Critical, by Medicare, by It's a Gundam, you know what I'm saying? To be given all of that grace and whatnot, and yet still try to antagonize some of those guys, as well as to basically fuck over these people that supposedly humanized you, who supposedly saved your life because they couldn't make shit happen. It explains why DSP is alone. It explains why his wife is sick and maybe she is dying, or maybe she's unwell. Let's say that. Maybe dying is a bit drastic. Maybe she is unwell. Maybe he's scared that he's really sick and he's dying himself, and that's why we're on the Ozempic or whatever it is, whatever, you know, weight loss medication that he could be on. It's weird how you're literally reduced to fighting for your goddamn life, and everybody's just sitting around waiting for you to die. And you're upset that people don't show more consideration, or they're not interested in what you do, while you yourself admit to, this is not me, him. DSP admits to saying, I will use people to get to where I need to get, and I have no intention of giving it back or helping them along. What was the name of that dude who got sick, or he was in a car accident, or whatever the case may be? The guy on Kick. And they were asking him, this was before the 4th of July or the vest, the vest, or in the Vestance Day, or whatever the fucking dented shit that was. And people were like, yo, this dude, he's kind of like down bad. Would you consider making a donation to him? Or maybe you guys can do a stream or something to help him raise funds. And DSP blew up all crazy, like he couldn't give money to no one. And then he said, oh, I redirect to him all Mad TV. That's what it was. It was Mad TV. Because Almighty Tevin, I think, did a stream talking about that. And he used the Mad TV theme song and that shit, which was fire, by the way. Big goes to Almighty Tevin, praise be. It was Mad TV. And DSP went ahead into a bitch fit about how I redirect to him all the time, yada, yada, yada. You know, he's in the partner program too, and I congratulated him when he got there. I'm giving him an opportunity. He's getting money off of me, whatever. If he wants more help, he needs to talk to me in person, or behind the scenes, sorry. But then DSP admits only a few days later that he makes barely anything off of the fucking partner program. It's damn near pittance. And then a few days after that, he had to go. And then a few days after that, after what happened to Raw Phil, then DSP had to change his mind and be like, oh, everybody over there in Snort Korea, or is it Snout Korea now I think about it? YouTube is Snort Korea. Someone said this in my stream a couple streams ago. Someone said YouTube is Snort Korea and Kick is Snout Korea or Gout Korea. I can't remember where we fell on all that. Whatever. Fucking Kick is Gout Korea, and they can sit there and run wild all they want. It doesn't matter. I get paid for them to being there. But then yet again, DSP has told us multiple times, just because he's in the Kick partner program doesn't mean it equates to a lot of money because he multi-streams. So are you really giving Mad TV charity? Or are you really just giving him the crumbs off your plate and wanting him to smile in your face and say, thank you, sir, may I have another? Makes you think. In any case, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for now. Like I said, I'll do an actual reaction to that nonsense later. I'll do an actual reaction to that nonsense later. Big ups to Evans and the Gouty and Gout Dragon, because that's what it was. And closing thoughts, and I'll let you guys go. Just, despite what your favorite detractor might say, DSP is not worthy of mercy at all. You give him an iota of space, and he'll try to squeeze himself through, and then he'll laugh at you the moment his snout makes it through it. He's just not worthy of it. There's a reason why people treat him the way they treat him. There's a reason why most normies don't want to talk to him. Even now, even in the current day and age, even after the Asmongold thing, how many people are saying, oh, well, hey, if DSP ever wants to do an interview, that's cool. You hear about these older channels that used to be something, and I guess are trying to go ahead and pull a resurgence of their own. And they're willing to talk to DSP, but that's just playing off of the side scroller playbook. And DSP is going to be very hesitant to do that. And because DSP is so close-minded as it pertains to YouTube, none of those people have any value to him because he don't know none of them. And then when he goes to their channel and he sees that their numbers ain't great, even if their numbers are better than his, he won't deal with them. So it's kind of a waste of time, more than anything. DSP is not worthy of your mercy at all. At all. I don't care how bad he is. I don't care if that dude is stroking out on stream. He is not worthy of your mercy. If you choose to go ahead and call the ambulance on him, I'm not gonna hold you on it. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? And I can respect you for that. But he is not worthy of your mercy. I promise you. I promise you, he wouldn't do it for you. Detractor or not, he wouldn't do it for you. You are not worth his time. You only exist to enrich his life and his situation leading into the next situation. That's why he monkey bars the way he does. And that's what it is. It's just monkey barring. He's a hoe. He's literally a hoe. That's what it was. Hoe, slut, and whore. He's literally all three of those things. All he does is monkey bar to the next situation, to the next situation, to the next situation. He has no real plan. He has no real idea of what he wants or what he's trying to actually accomplish. Just get there and then try to figure it out from there, which i.e. means whoever he's in bed with at that time, they need to do all the work while he reaps the benefits. It's just not worth it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is one thing to say later. GTG spits that grease, so on and so forth. Take care of yourselves, people. Take care of yourselves. Later, people. Later, people.